What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your girl, Sav, with the lovely KOC. How's it going?
I'm doing great. I had a full 8 hours of sleep all weekend. I
Wow.
am thriving. Thriving. It's great. Simple
What did you
things.
do this weekend?
Absolutely nothing. Of like, you know what I mean? Like nothing. I just did errands. I did my writing. I put away my laundry. I was just a full adult and I just took a me day. I got my run in. I just went and picked up those things. Like I said, did laundry, organized. I just was an adult in the best way possible. And now I feel good. Was it exciting? No, but Monday I'm feeling fresh.
I love that for you. Very
Sometimes we
adulty.
know. I
Yeah.
don't have them often, but like they're nice when you haven't had one in a while. You're like, oh, this feels
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, definitely. Do you ever feel like when you do like a task day like that, it's really busy? Like
Uh-huh.
sometimes I feel that way where I'll make myself a task to do X, Y, and Z. And then somehow I'm like running around, meal prepping, buying groceries, running to the pharmacy. Like, do you ever feel this way or no?
Like I feel
I don't
overwhelmed
find
by those
them
to-do days.
relaxing. Yeah.
I do, because they're like there's no amount of errands that will be more on my to-do list than my Monday through Friday to-do list. So it's so nice. Like I only got 5 things and I got 10 hours to get through them. And also I live like downtown, so I think that's the difference. Like going grocery shopping, it's a block away. Like yeah, I can't drive. So
True.
that's the down like doing a Costco haul. Now that's a full day's experience. You gotta get an Uber, do a car share, go out to who knows where. Like that's exhausting. But like errands in the city is a vibe. You're like walking
Yeah.
down, you got your headphones on, you grab a coffee on the way. But where you're at, not as easy or enjoyable, dare I say.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Because I was thinking yesterday was like my errands day, but I
Hmm.
didn't want to go to Costco because it's 30 minutes away, So I could
Exactly.
see that. But in a
Remember New
city,
York?
that does sound nice. Yeah, I was just thinking, ooh, New York. I had a meeting with somebody today and
Mhm.
she's like, yeah, I'm based in New York. Aren't you? And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm a
Rip.
faker. But I do love it. And I love
Mhm.
seeing stories of New York. And, Michael and I were just talking about how thankful we are that we spend time there because we
Mhm.
feel like we are comfortable in New York. I feel like
Mm.
people will visit as a tourist and be so scared of that city.
Oh yeah.
But if you just get yourself a little familiarized with it, you'll be fine.
It's like you said, it just seems so overwhelming. But once you can conquer New York, you're like, oh, yeah, I just stay there. That's where that is. That's where that is. Once you like understand it geographically, stunning.
If you know how to count the streets, you'll never be lost. Before, I would be
Exactly.
like, oh my God, I don't even know, like, where's Times Square? And now I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, everything is just a grid there.
It's so nice.
But does it make me oblivious when I'm there still? Yes. The la 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 la, nothing can touch me. I'm like trying to get better
Mm,
at that.
yeah, probably did. Especially when have you heard they're going around punching girls in New York?
I
So, yeah,
have.
my New York girlies, none of this. Da, 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 da. You are locked and loaded, transparent mode on your AirPod, no soundproof, locked and loaded.
I am that person that like I would be so rageful. Like I of course probably would never end up doing anything. Like reactive, I'd be just so stunned. But like when I hear about this, I'm like, ooh, I want to be one of those girls that's like, let me at him. Give me a reason to punch this person because it's so mean that they're doing that. And
It's
just so
crazy.
unnecessary. People are just fucking weird. And
It's
especially New Yorkers. I'm just like, let them live. Let them live.
fully. It's interesting to find out what kind of person you are, though. If you're like a fight, flight, or what's it, fawn or freeze. Those are like the four like reaction. Like if flight, you run, fight, you attack, fawn, you like try and like calm the situation, and then freeze, you just freeze. And those are like the four. It's interesting when not saying, oh, I want to get punched to find out what I am, but just every once in a while you experience some kind of blip of life changing or life dramatic moment, and you're like, oh, I am a runner or whatever
What
the
do you
case
think you
is.
are?
I hate to say it, like I might be a fighter. I hate to say it because like all I know is any emergency I've been in, like my instinct is run to it. Like anytime, like I saw a car flip
Oh,
once and I ran to it. I'm like, that's like I ran to it, called the car. I'm like, that's my. Either way, I'm not necessarily running away, but I'm running. I don't always
yeah.
know what direction, but I find I'm running in some direction. So I guess not fight, but I'm not necessarily running away. I'm running in some
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah. See, that's where like I think I'm a fleer. I actually know this for a fact. I would like flee if someone was breaking in my house. I like when
Oh,
I
yeah.
sleep by myself when Michael's traveling, I have car keys ready to go.
Mhm.
I have knives. I have everything in case I need it. But like my main goal is like I will run away and like hop into a car. But something about if I'm on a street and someone is physically attacking me and you just know already that they are like not going to be intelligent about you attacking them back, I just think it could get me into some trouble, but I think I would be like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
And yeah, one time I was in New York and I got hit by like a moped.
Yeah.
And it was like a couple years ago. And I was like screaming at him. I didn't like run away. I was like, "What the fuck is your problem?" Like went off on him, started chasing him. Like he got away. But like there was a cop conveniently directing traffic. So he was trying to help me too. So maybe I wouldn't have been that way if I didn't have a cop beside me. But yeah, that was a bummer. I went into Dunkin' Donuts after and I was like, "Can I have a bag of ice?" And they were like, "What?" And I like show them this like road burn I have and they're like,
Oh,
"Oh,"
no.
and they gave me it.
Oh, nice
Yeah.
employees. Nice employees. You haven't
New
lived
York
into a big
things.
city until you've been hit by a car. I've
Yeah.
been hit once and a half and I think dodged like 20 times. So I'm like, it's part of initiation. Get hit by a car.
Initiation. Yeah. I
And
agree.
same.
Michael used to get hit by cars a lot in Seattle. Like at least 4 times we saw this happen within 6 months.
I think at that point, I wonder if he's being oblivious. You know what I mean?
Is
I
he
feel
meant to go?
you get the, I think the man hasn't learned his lesson.
No, it would not be his fault. It'd be like
Oh,
a
really?
couple times. Yeah. So I have this one memory of I'm like with his sister and him, and there's a car parked and they backed out and their taillights were out. So it's not like we could even
Oh,
see it.
yeah.
And they hit him. And we're just walking in an alley.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember the other times, but it's this running joke that Michael always got hit by cars. It was never like he never flew, he never
Yes.
did anything, but he was like, "Come on, man. Like, can you not?" Every
Yeah.
time.
You're like, I'm here. Say, mine
Mhm.
was never anything serious. A car started backing up into me. And like it was stopped at a crosswalk and he blocked the crosswalk. So everyone's like, you go around or in front. And so I went behind and suddenly I'm like, wait, why am I moving? This man's backing up into me. And it was like outside Robson Street. So I like just kicked the car. And I'm like, what you doing here? The classic thing. And like everyone's looking around. And then you could tell like he was so panicked that he was blocking the crosswalk. Not to give him the benefit of the doubt, but like he was so panicked that he just saw the people in front. So he's like, oh, just get out of their way, forgetting people are also going to be behind you. Yeah. And so I was fine. But I guess my reaction is just to go, what you doing here? Like any
I love it.
urban
It's like
person.
"I'm walking here."
That's
I don't know
my
what movie
instinct.
that's from.
Some
Mhm.
I just know it's a New York 90s or 80s movie. I can't remember
Yeah.
what it is. I know what you're talking
I
about. I've
love
seen
that.
the scene.
Yeah. Well, I picked up something this weekend,
Please
and
tell.
I will tell you. It is Spyro. Do you know what Spyro is? Or was this an American thing?
Might have been. Or I was just offline doing my chores.
Okay. Well,
Tell.
my brother, I have an older brother. So we have PlayStation for him because I was like, growing up, I would play with like rocks outside and have imaginary friends, right? So we had this PlayStation with a ton of boy games for him, like Hot Wheels and
Classic.
everything, Crash Bandicoot. But there was this one called Spyro, and I loved it because I loved you could collect these pretty sparkly gems.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so fun. He's this purple dragon, and it's an early 2000s game.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now. Now I know. It's clicked. It's clicked.
Yeah. So I purchased the game off of Michael's Xbox that I bought him and was like, "You owe me this." Bought the game. And it's so fun. Like, I honestly don't have a lot of memories from it other than I loved like collecting the gemstones and the eggs and like I'm trying to learn how to make him fly. But as an adult, it's still quite entertaining. And I'm like, am I a gamer now? I might as well just set up a Twitch account.
Do it. Fitness is over. It's all about the gamers.
They'd be like, this girl doesn't even know. Like, I couldn't even figure out how to turn the Xbox on at first.
Baby
I
steps.
had to ask Michael.
Baby steps.
Yeah. Because I never had an Xbox growing up.
True. Like, yeah. I'm trying to think when Xbox came out. I think like
I feel like it was past our time.
It was like Xbox was getting in when we were getting out of games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the preteen, like I know for me, like preteen, 13 to 16 is when like the fun little cutesy games, kind of the novelty worn off. I was trying to go to parties. And that was around the time Xbox came out. So then just the boys, it just became Xbox was for the boys. I won't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Oh,
props to
absolutely.
the girls who became gamers and now are Twitch, they beat us all. They were the
Mm-hmm.
smart ones. The girls who became
Mm-hmm.
gamers in high school, and they're making 20 times more than any of us now, those Twitch girls. I'm like,
I was
oh,
gonna
they
say
were
Twitch
smart.
people, like you guys, if you're listening and you don't know this about Twitch, like those girls rake it in. And like they don't,
My
you know,
God.
they're not provocative. I'm sure there's
No.
accounts that are, but they're
Yeah.
just like these cool girls that can game. And I remember the first time I heard about Twitch, I had this job in college and this really nerdy coworker would like watch it all day. And I'm like, what are you watching? Are you playing video games? And he's like, no, I'm watching people play video games. And in my head, I said, what a fucking stupid idea. Why are you watching that? And obviously I didn't say it that way. I just was like,
Yeah.
Jordan, I don't understand. Why are you watching it? And he's like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm so entertained because I can't, you know, play it at work. So I'd rather just watch somebody do it and figure out how I can get better. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he's like, yeah. And I send them gifts. And it was like, he loved like these guys and he would send them like
Yeah.
$5 and if they
Mhm.
could shout him out. It was so entertaining. But I thought, what a weird concept. And I thought, must not do well. Like, must just be this hidden thing for some nerds.
Mm.
Little did I know, it's
Mm.
huge. And he was one of the OGs. I hope he made a channel. I kept encouraging him to do it because I thought he'd be good at it.
You know what? Respect. That's where the real money is. Actually, I'm going to pivot my hot take. And here's the hot take. The last great moment of society was Pokemon Go. I miss those days. Remember that one summer we all got Pokemon Go? And obviously people are still playing it, but there was like 2 months that everyone was playing it. And I felt that was the last time the world was united. Like it's all been downhill from there. Like we were all in, like we all bought Pokemon Go. And you would see people on the boardwalks downtown just walking around. Such like a family friendly thing. People are out walking, just catching Pokemon. I miss that. That was the beginning of the end. That was the last great uniting of society.
I
That's my
never
hot
played
take.
it. Did you play it?
Everyone played it. You missed
I
out so much.
I
It
don't
was,
like games, like video
but that was,
games.
but that's the thing. It wasn't a video game in that sense. Like you had to, it was like augmented reality. So you had to go
No,
on
it
the map
sounds
video.
cool.
You had to go catch the Pokemon. So you'd be like your camera, you'd be like looking around and then you see like a Pikachu in the background. You try to catch it. But like you had to actually walk to all the different places. And it was
Yeah,
just
that
like,
is
it's
cool.
so family friendly. And like, I swear that's why that was the first Hot Girl Walk, Pokemon Go.
Yes.
It was
I
the
wonder
original, like,
why people don't play anymore, or can you
okay,
still? It's just not as hot.
I think like people definitely still play it. Like it's massive, but like, I mean, it was like Wordle. When Wordle, everyone was playing Wordle.
Yeah.
Still a lot of people play Wordle, but not everybody's playing Wordle now. Like that's what Pokemon Go was. Like that summer, every single person I knew played it. Everything
Yeah.
from Halifax to like I was playing in Halifax. Then I went home to Edmonton for the summer. Still everyone playing. It was like took over the world. I missed that. I missed
Yeah.
that you missed it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a lot for me to get Spyro. Do you remember? I'm trying to think of nostalgic video games that we would do. Do you remember there was this one? It was like a Scrabble. It sounds like Wordle. I've never played Wordle, but is it like Scrabble where like you go and then the next opponent goes?
No, Wordle is
Oh.
just you have like 6 guesses to guess a word kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Well, this game, I don't know if you remember, but in high school, and we have a little bit of an age gap. So I don't know if you did it. You would have been in
I
college.
know.
But it was like this thing where you would just essentially play Scrabble with somebody, but you would want to play with your crush. And you would like want to see how fast they responded. And you can like IM in it. Did you ever play this?
I know that we did play it. We did play it. Like I feel it was like my last year of high school, first year of college. So I was definitely playing that. I remember playing it with like I vaguely remember, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And I remember, the DMs and all that, and just be like, oh, it was like an excuse to talk to
like,
someone.
he responded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Facebook poke, or there was
Yes.
Farmville. Was it
Yes.
Farmville? Or no, Clash
Yep.
of Clans people loved?
Oh, I never did that, but Farmville when I was young. Like I was young.
The guy I dated before Michael, I think it was Clash of Clans. Is it Clash of Clans where they like have to still build a farm and build a community? Yeah, yeah, and they have warriors and stuff. It's on your phone. He was so into it with his friends, and I was like, what the heck is this thing? Then I meet Michael, and he is also a Clash of Clan person. And I was like, all these guys play. And I think Michael just like naturally stopped playing after college because I think it was like you would get together with your buddies. But I was always so intrigued because I'm like, you're playing Sims basically. You're playing Farmville, guys.
Yeah.
Like, but it was a big deal if you had an army and you could take over.
You know what? No, I think Megs went down the same pipeline. Michael.
Oh, we know Megs did.
And you know what they do now? Chess. They play chess.
I was gonna say
they're on that old man pipeline. I was
our boys Farmville, love the chess games.
COD to chess. That's the pipeline.
They would be besties if they met. They'd be 100%. Like, you like chess too? And they'd be like, let me send you the videos. Every now and then, when I catch Michael watching a chess video, I giggle and I think about you and Megs.
Same. I walk in, I'm like, how's Gotham doing? And I'm like, Michael's probably watching.
Yeah. Right now, Michael is into watching spearfishing videos, so it pivots. But he made me watch How to Fillet a Fish the other day, and I was like, I've had it. I don't want to watch this. Yeah. Like, it's just not entertaining.
No, that's for the boys. We're not dragging them to Pilates classes. They're not making us watch fly fishing. Keep it separate.
Like, I'll watch Alex Earl's cute Kentucky Derby transition, 100%. And you can watch someone fillet a fish.
You're speaking my love language. And speaking of love languages, let's jump into the first topic of the day, which is something close to both of our hearts. Marathons, not actually, just running. And I just want to congratulate, a lot of you guys are from Vancouver, a lot of you are runners, and it was the BMO Vancouver Marathon this weekend. I popped in. I couldn't run it because I ran last weekend, so I decided to pick my poison. And it's just such a fun vibe. I don't know if were you in New York during the New York Marathon?
No.
See, I think marathons and playoffs of sports are the two best times to live in a city. Sorry, the balloons. We put a peace sign on FaceTime or anything, it puts balloons. So sorry about that. I couldn't stop laughing. But anytime you're in a city, like all of Vancouver, before noon yesterday, like everyone who's out is going to cheer someone on. Like everyone running or just ran the race. Like it's like one of the few times a whole city gets behind something aside from a playoff sport. And I think it's such a vibe, and it makes it my bucket list item. I have 2 races I want to do. Actually 3. I lied. I was like, is there any races, even if it's a 5K, 10K, that you're like on your runner's bucket list you want to one day do, or even just like a route?
No. I don't. I saw you make this note and I was like, I really don't. Let me explain why. I did a 5K with my dad, and it was the first time I've ever entered some form of a race. Now, I love it. I would love to do a 5K with my dad. My family run like how you run with your family. I think that's amazing. But I just do not have that drive to do it myself. And I think maybe we should normalize that in humans, because
I love it.
It's like, I really like running distance. I like having goals. Like I've been trying to run a 10K just by myself. And ironically, you know, my friend, we have a marathon in San Juan, Puerto Rico this past weekend as well. And I was taking Michael to the airport at 6 a.m. and they shut down the airport exit for this, which you would think, why? You're on an island. You could just go to the water and it'd be pretty. Options. It was confusing. We had a lot of questions trying to figure out how to get to the airport. But I had a friend that was like, do you want to do a 10K with me there? And I was like, I actually don't. And I think it's like because the pressure gets to me. So I rather enjoy running so I don't hate it and resent it. And I think my thought process is, I'm going to hate it if I have this thing I've entered. But I liked the 5K with my dad. I just like, when I did it, I was like, there's nothing special about it. I'm around a bunch of sweaty humans. And I just didn't love it. And maybe that's a hot take. But like, I love people doing marathons. They look glamorous when I see them on Instagram. And I just think it's normalized if some of us just don't want to do it.
I love that. I want to normalize like doing 10Ks as workouts. And then like, hear me out. I think a lot of people think like you run this 10K, that you have to be training to get your best time and doing all this. And like, you have to like have your whole thing, or even training for a half marathon. And like, you actually have to do that. If you train for a marathon, I think you actually have to do structured and all that. But like for a 10K and all that, once you kind of get to that capacity, you're like, you right now are like, oh, I'm just trying to get to 10K on my own. And I've started viewing doing these races less as like oh, I have to train for this, and more like accountability. So like it's long race day. I'm only gonna run long runs. So I'm only gonna do 6 today. I'm like, no, today I gotta go do 10. I signed up, and it's like a funner way to get the workout in instead of, it's kind of like a fitness class, but a run.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
I
mean? Like
love
you're
that.
signed up,
Yeah.
there's music, there's prizes. It's like such a nice buzz. So like I stopped training for like specific times, or at least I'm giving myself a year of like no times, no distance. I'm just randomly signing up for races just to have like a good workout, like have the vibes for my workout.
Yeah. No, I love that. Are you still running every day to an extent?
No, I stopped that a year and a half ago. After
A
400,
year and a
I
half
stopped.
ago.
Yeah, I stopped 23 January
Oh, okay.
2023. Yeah. Now I'm
R.I.P.
just 3 runs. I had to stop. I was doing it for only just to keep doing it. I'm like, I hate this.
Totally.
It started me hate running. So
Yeah, I get that.
did 400 days, and now I just run once to 3 times a week, and it's lovely.
I love that. Tell me,
And
where do you want to do
ooh,
your marathons?
well, I have to do the BMO Vancouver next year. I'm like, even if I just do the half, I got to do it. I really want to do Stockholm's. I was there one year doing it. So beautiful. And then one day, I could be 60. I don't care when. I have to run the New York Marathon. Like that just seems so, to be in that city during it,
That's fair.
I feel it. I just want to experience that. Like I just finish it, just be in that city,
Yeah.
shut down, running it. And like Casey Neistat films it every year. And I'm like, it would
You
just
could
be so
meet
cool.
him. Absolutely.
You know how there's some people you idolize so much you never want to meet? That's Casey.
Yeah.
Because I know he won't care. I'm one of a million people who will be like, Casey, you're the reason I have a YouTube channel. He'd be like, oh, thanks, bye.
He'll be like, good talk. Do you have some goo for me?
Yeah. I was like, anyways, I'm going to go cry.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to back away now.
I hope I never meet him unless we're like on a panel together and I'm like, he's my equal, which he never will be. But until then, I'm
Hey,
like,
don't say never. I'm manifesting this for you. I think you can do it.
I think, you know what? If I'm just on like a 1/10 of his scale, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I can deal with that.
One day you will meet him and he'll be like, Keltie, oh my God, I love your content. He'll know you.
I'd faint. Like I would just, I'm not someone who doesn't like to talk. I like to talk. I'd be like,
You just clam up. I have a channel. I talk on it. What?
I am guilty. That's what I would be like.
Yeah, there was this is kind of off topic, but I was listening to this podcast from this girl. She was on The Bachelorette like, oh my God, years ago, or Bachelor. And she was saying she was backstage at Stagecoach and Lana Del Rey was there. And her sister loves Lana Del Rey. And she was saying, I don't know her too well, but I do love her. And she's a big Swiftie. So she's like, the woman has touched Taylor Swift. That's amazing. So she goes up to introduce her, like, hey, do you mind if my sister gets a photo with you? And the girl Lana turned around being like, oh my gosh, it's Becca Dilley for those who don't know. I love her podcast. And she turns around, she's like, Becca? And Becca was like, you know who I am? And she's like, I love The Bachelor. So you never know if somebody does consume your content. That's what's so cool about online is like your idols can see you. You just wouldn't notice. So never say that.
I like that. Thank you. I like that. That would be the craziest moment of all time. Lana Del Rey being like, I love your. Once again, I would just be like, I am Keltie. I would just clam up. But speaking of meeting famous people, this might be the chance, the ultimate goal, where I could meet all these people. The Met Gala is this weekend. And it's a podcast. We don't have visuals, so we can't do the classic react to what they wore. So I thought, let's take a different spin. And I found this article of people you might be shocked have attended the Met Gala. And I just want to know if you're shocked these people attended or just kind of your thoughts. Because when I think of Met Gala, I think top models like designers, Zendaya, Giselle, Tom Brady, Tom Holland. Like, do you know what I mean? The creme de la creme. And every once in a while, they throw you a curveball.
Those poor curveball people. Imagine being talked about on a podcast as the curveball person. But hey, they got invited, so that matters.
Exactly. But the thing is, like, these people, once again, we'll see if we agree or not. It's nothing against them. It's just like fashion people. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
fashion. And every
Or
once in a
like
while,
A-list celebrities.
yeah, every once in a while someone slips by. Here's the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Number one, Elon Musk. A couple years ago. Think like 2018 Elon Musk. Would you be shocked he was there?
Honestly, no, because Elon, I mean, like as in when it was 2018 he went, and that's weird because he
Yeah, it
wasn't
was a
that
couple.
famous back then.
He wasn't the richest man on earth back then. Like he was
Yeah,
just.
but he's so brilliant that it's like
Mm.
he is like what I think of our modern day Iron Man. Like
Okay,
his brain just works differently. So
exactly.
I could see it. Also, maybe they wanted to be in the good graces because they're like, homie, I want a car. I want a Tesla. Or like, hey, take me to the
True.
moon. Like, I don't know. Are you shocked by it?
I'm not, because once again, I didn't make up this list. I'm reading this list. I'm not, because I'm like, it's all like a fundraiser, the Met Gala. So they're thinking
True.
money, 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 money.
True.
But like when I think of fashion, don't think of Elon. Won't lie.
Is the Met
Stop.
I guess, can you explain the Met for those that don't know what it is? Because
Actually,
I'm
okay.
somebody that doesn't really know what it is.
So the Met Gala every year is a fundraiser for the Met Gala, like the Met at like down like the art gallery. And it's like usually it's like a moment in fashion. They bring out a lot of things. Like that's why like Kim Kardashian wore Marilyn Monroe's dress. Like it's a lot of just like revisiting old historic things. It's like a way to present, you know how like museums will always have like a featured presentation, whatever is going on, like it's kind of a representation of that, and it's this big fundraiser. But it's, once again, it's all fashion, so it's a lot of like old school fashion, bringing out designs and all that. And then it's just over time become the who's who of it. It's all with Anna Wintour, and all is like the editor of Vogue is big in charge of it. So it's just kind of like the history of fashion, and it dates back so long, so it just kind of has that history that, but at the end of the day, it's just a really fancy fundraiser for the museum. And that was in layman's terms. Our fashion girlies might come for me, but that was as basic as I could make it and explain. And so usually every designer buys a table. Every designer like will buy a table, and then they will dress people that are at that table, just like any gala. So like Zendaya walks for Dior or Versace. They have a table, then they're going to dress her in something. And it's kind of like all these designers put together to have that representation there. And I believe a lot of them go into the Met Gala, like a lot of the gowns and all that, and become a part of history in this cycle, or they might bring out the history. And that's a little dependent. But yeah, that's how it kind of works out. So when you see Blake Lively dressed by Gucci, it was because Gucci bought a table for the fundraiser and dressed her.
Do you think they're paying Blake Lively as well? Do you think
No,
this is a paid gig?
It's all fundraising. So, and that's why, but it's one of those.
But is Blake donating any money, or she's just donating herself because she'll bring money?
Blake is a queen, so she does. She's like the queen.
She does donate.
Met Gala. So I believe her.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's kind of like one of the it girls that's always there, and is kind of like when she doesn't go, people are like, oh, T. Like she's kind of the belle of the ball. Not the only one. Like there's a lot of them, but she's one of those like foundational girlies.
Oh, so I'm excited to see what she does. This is my question I have for the Met Gala. Yes. And I would love if somebody that goes to the Met Gala answered this for me anywhere. Okay. What do they do once they leave those steps? What are they doing? Are they eating food? Are they walking around? Are they watching performances? What are they doing?
There's no cameras allowed, so no one really knows. A few times there's been like this one famous photo of a bunch of supermodels smoking cigarettes in a bathroom. Like so that there's like a few iconic photos that have gotten, but there's no cameras.
Sounds
often
quite
they change
Illuminati.
out. I know, right? All I know is they change out of their outfits like almost immediately, because a lot of those like are couture dresses that actually are just like art pieces. Like they're not actually like, let's go dancing in this. Like it's a walking piece of art. And then, so I think a lot of them change outfits, and then it's a dinner. So it's just like, have you ever seen those like galas? Like it's like, think of like 50 tables, 10 people at a table, presentation, people doing, and they're like, thank you, blank and blank, for donating, and food going around. And then I think it's a lot of networking with A-list celebrities. I don't know.
Imagine if they like, so who knows what really goes on. They're like, we are the elites. But imagine you just get to be in your, pajamas, little sweatsuit, matching sweatsuit, and just walking around hanging out with Kim Kardashian. No cameras. Do whatever you want. Nobody's going to read my lips. That's how I would think.
Right?
I
That is where the real
I'd get some
tea.
shit started there. I'd be like, oh, okay, now can you please explain this to me? Can you explain
Mhm.
this to me? Nobody will record this conversation.
Yeah. Wow. That's like that's why you probably want to go. It's the one time that they all go and be like, okay, let's talk this out. Let's have the tea. No cameras.
Yeah.
And then you know who's actually friends.
Yeah,
Ooh.
true.
Who actually shows up. I was like, there's no cameras. Who's actually
Yeah.
shading who?
Yeah. You know how like in the influencing space people can be like quite like two-faced to you, and I more think of like back when I first started living in LA, going to, you know, all these events. A lot of
Yeah.
people would be like just kind of catty in a sense, and like now
Mhm.
I feel like I don't see anybody, and like if I go to events they're all really chill girls. This was more like
Yeah.
you get invited to these random PR events.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just, you know, these influencers. My question is, what are celebrities like? You know, like, are you
Because
guys better, or are you like worse than what I've seen? Like, I've got so many questions for this. I would love some Hollywood insight on somebody.
you know what? One day I'll infiltrate the Met Gala for YouTube, go
Yes.
undercover, and tell you all the
Yes.
tea.
Yes. Love it.
Okay. Let's rapid fire through these other people. Marilyn Manson.
Who's Marilyn Manson?
Remember, like, crazy emo goth guy of like the 90s? We were not allowed to listen to as kids. Do you not
No, I
remember Marilyn
don't.
Manson? Okay, don't look it up.
I'm really bad with
Anyways,
names, though. Really bad with them.
I
So
don't know how to describe
RIP.
him versus like crazy. Yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
Hillary Clinton. I hope you know that one.
I know Hillary Clinton. That does not really shock me. I feel like if they want to get involved in politics, they got to invite
Yeah.
the girly swirlies.
I guess New York is politicians, but in my mind, once again, she's not the first person I think of fashion. But at the same time, I feel
Absolutely not.
you know what? They have to get in the politicians' good books and get those fundraiser money. So I'm like, respect the hustle. Respect the hustle.
Mhm.
Okay. Jonas Brothers. Now remember, this is like Jonas Brothers, the three of them rolling up as not as just like Kevin, Joe showing up. I mean, Jonas Brothers heyday.
I love it. I mean, I am a big Jonas Brothers stan. Would
Yeah.
I say fashion for Jonas Brothers? No. I would say TikTok fashion because they're quite hot. But what year was this?
So they're like when they were Jonas Brothers. So this was a couple years
like
ago.
In their peak.
Jonas Brothers. This is like
what do you mean? They're still the Jonas Brothers.
But you know, I mean, they broke up, got back together, but like
they made a comeback, baby.
But I'm talking pre-comeback is what I'm saying. When they were just they weren't Joe Jonas on his own. They weren't Nick Jonas single era. It was pre that.
Huh. Honestly, I still view them as the Jonas Brothers, but maybe it's because I'm a fan. I don't know. It doesn't shock me at all because I love them.
Okay. I respect it. I was like, I think I need the context. I should have found out the year of that one because, like, I was like,
year
if they were
younger,
right? But if they're like teeny boppers, I could imagine. I was too young to like know what the Met Gala was, but I imagine there was outrage of like these young kids. Like that's what I'm visualizing. Versus like now they're old, sophisticated men. This era of them, I see it. Back then,
yeah,
I could imagine outrage. Okay, now this one, James Charles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, though, influencers are like penetrating that field. Like, I feel like people are slowly realizing that like influencers from like the James Charles have so much power opposed to somebody that's, you know, maybe famous for like the traditional celebrity lifestyle. So that does not shock me at all. Like, that's going to get the real views. I feel like for so long they were in denial of like these types of influencers are powerful, and they're like, no, they didn't earn it because they're not in a movie or they're not blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, no, these people are like a force to be reckoned with, especially beauty people.
Oh yeah. So now for context, this was pre-cancellation, I believe. I think he's gone post-cancellation, but he got sent by YouTube. So that was like a cool thing where like YouTube became like its own red carpet interviewers. Like you might have seen Emma Chamberlain, and YouTube bought a table. So back in the day, if you were like name 10 YouTubers at that time, you would have named James Charles. So like it made sense. They bought a table. It's a fundraiser. So yeah, once again, now could be controversial. But next one, also in that same vein, Addison Rae.
Oh, that does shock me. But then again, she was the it girl for a while, you know, and she is a real celebrity. She did those Netflix movies. So Go off, girl.
I've seen so much, like, I feel Addison Rae is like winning at life. Like, I feel the Dixies and the Charlies, not to get into TikTok drama, like, we're everywhere. And she did the perfect amount of like, I was everywhere and I'm going to keep a little bit of mysterious. Like, she like
Yeah.
she got out of that TikTok to A-list. Like, I feel she did it, whatever she did, like, just knowing I'm going to be out there, but not too out there, scale back. Like, she clap, clap, clap. I feel she
Yeah.
nailed it.
Totally. Because I feel like with the D'Amelios, I watched their reality TV show a while ago, and it's like it's really sad and like heavy to like see how much hate affects them, where it's almost like you got to play that game if you're at that level where you can't like it. Like, I feel like Addison did this thing where she made herself a little perfect bubble. I bet you she got the advice from the Kardashians because she has besties with them.
Yeah.
And she just seems untouchable, which I think it's powerful that they did show that, because I think people should know that, hey, they're still humans and that does affect them. But like, I just, when I think of the difference, I think of Addison as like very set in like who she is, confident. She's not like a cookie cutter person.
Definitely. That's why I was like, I feel she nailed it. Versus the D'Amelios, I like worry about. I'm like, oh, like, I feel like I want the best for them, but I worry for them. I'm like, they feel like you said, too easy to get a hold of in a way.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're at that power, and I think what people love about celebrities is like they're untouchable and like they're at this pedestal, right? And it's like this catch 22 where it's like, well, you want to show them they're real humans and normalize that and teach society, but also society doesn't want to watch that because they deal with that in their day-to-day. They want something that's fake. It's like how we like watching the Kardashians, because it's like, we don't have private jets, but I think it's fun to watch. I don't want to watch somebody, walking their dog at 6 a.m. every day. I do that already.
I've seen it 100 times, but have I seen the inside of a private jet ever? Nope. So actually then, let's finish off with a bow and a tie. What is your most iconic Met Gala look that just like lives rent free in your head? Just one stand out.
I barely knew what the Met Gala was for context, so I don't know. I thought it was yesterday because it popped up on my TikTok as like a search, and I was like, ooh, and then like nothing was coming up, and the first thing that popped up was Blake Lively. But I would probably have to say, like, when Kim Kardashian popped out with the Marilyn Monroe, that was pretty cool. That's also the only thing I really remember because I watched the TV show. And, I'm just going to say, as a Swiftie, anything Taylor Swift wears when she goes to the Met Gala hasn't been in a hot minute, I think. But if she ever went, I would assume she did at some point of her life. No?
I hate to say it. I think that's kind of like a bit of like a thing. It's like, I don't think she's ever been. And it's kind of always been like, has she ever been invited, or does she never want to go? Because it's kind of Kim's thing. See what I mean? So it's kind of been like, I don't think she definitely hasn't gone in like the last 6 years, but I believe she's never been.
Blake Lively is her bestie.
I know, but it's different. It's all about Anna Wintour.
Okay. She did go.
Prada.
She went, she wore Louis Vuitton, and I think she's actually been a couple times, but she has not graced it since a decade, is what the internet says. Okay.
That's what it is. Because I was like, since it's become Kim's Kardashian territory, Taylor Swift has not been seen.
See, my thoughts on that is like, I love the song Thank You, Amy. Like, have you listened to it yet?
I have listened to it.
And Cassandra sounds a lot like she's aiming at them, at Kardashians. For those that don't know, those are 2 songs Taylor Swift wrote that allegedly are about them. Thank you, Amy. Obvious, it's like spelling Kim,
so obvious.
But Cassandra alludes to a lot of it. But, and I think they're like back to back on the album. But like, I would love to be a fly on that wall. Maybe they need to go to the Met so they can hash it out behind closed doors and just be like, look, man, you did me dirty, so I did you dirty. Like, an eye for an eye. Can we just like, agree to not avoid each other's like events now? That's what I would do.
True, but who knows? All I gotta say, I still think the best Met Gala look of all time was Blake Lively with the 2-tone dress that like it was like mermaid. When it like let down, it started off like copper and then it became purple, blue. Honestly, the Blake Lively, if you just type in Met Gala, it's usually there. I'm like, I just love Blake, and she's sometimes in Vancouver. I grew up watching Gossip Girl. She was blonde, I was blonde. I'm like, I just wish I was Blake Lively. She's the best.
She is the best. She's super
She's the
cute.
queen. And she's Taylor Swift's bestie. So how can you
There you go.
not like that? Okay. That's one hot take I gotta really ask you. I saw this, also speaking of celebrities who have been in the Met. Bella Hadid spotted in this controversial workout pant. I've seen so many posts of Bella in capris. What are your thoughts in like workout capris? I feel the fashion girlies are bringing it, and I know you hate it. So I want to know, do you think it's actually going to happen? Or is this one, sometimes those fashion girly moments happen, but no one actually ends up wearing. It's just for the fashion girlies. It never makes it to mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this is going to make it mainstream?
For my calves, I really hope not. But I don't know. I could see it. Capris can be cute on people, and it's quite practical in spring and summer. So I could see it. But I don't know. Do you think so? Like, I actually think Hilara sent me a pair of capri leggings.
Yeah.
And I said, no.
Sorry. I think they're going to have a brief moment. Just like, remember, capris didn't really ever have that long of a moment. Like, they were a brief thing. I think they're just a brief thing that every decade comes back for like 2, maybe 3 years. We wear it. It looks good on a very specific type of body type. And then other people find a way to rock it. And then we all kind of look at each other and go, what are we doing here? Let's stop this. Let's stop this. And then it goes out. And so I think it's going to have 2 years. So if you're a capri girl, jump on it. And then I think it's gone in 2 years.
Yeah, I agree. Will you jump on the capris?
I'll probably try it.
I feel like you will rock the capris.
We'll see. You got to find the right ones. Because like I feel sometimes if I wear like baggy capris, I look like a boy. Like there's no curves. I'm like, it's given boy flooded wearing his older brother clothes. But I'm like, the leggings I could try. You can always get them
gaucho.
Cheaper too. Why do I not know what that is?
A gaucho pant?
Gaucho.
Google them. That was my jam.
Spell that.
They were capris and they were flowy. When you said flared, I was thinking of gaucho. Okay. It was the it thing to wear in elementary.
Gaucho. Or are they like, they're kind of like, they're the big baggy capri.
Yes. And it's like spandex material. Every, elementary, middle schooler wore it.
Yeah. I had a pair of Lulus like that. And that was when Lulu first came out. I remember those were my prized possessions. Like now they would actually, once again, should have held on to them. They would have been vintage Lulu.
Oh, should have. My mom bought me a capri or a gaucho pant. I was so excited, from JCPenney's, and a brand new SpongeBob shirt. And I could not wait to wear it to school. This is an elementary for context. And you know what happened? I was like, let me iron my gaucho pants. These things are made of like spandex, but like thinner than spandex. It's like, I don't know the material, like nylon maybe. I could be butchering that. I tried to iron this, melted all like clunk hole in it. And I was like crying, but I really wanted to wear them because they were super cool and trendy and they would look great with my SpongeBob shirt. Yeah, so I wore them. And everyone was like, what happened to your pants? Why are they melted? And I would be like, and I told everybody it was a design because if you looked closely, it looked like a skull. But it really didn't.
There you go. No,
I melted my pants.
Play it off. Distressed pants or in ripped jeans. You just have to be like, melted pants are kind of distressed jeans. Tomato.
Mm-hmm.
To finish off, if you guys know, you can submit a confession session on Instagram or hit us up in the DMs and ask a question. And so I thought, let's answer one question that was fitting to marathon season being in. How to get faster on runs. Just point and simple. Have you found any little just tips that help you got faster?
Oh man, guys, I am a slow runner. I like record mine on the Nike app, and honestly, it's a great day if I hit 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So this is not my forte. But what I will say is don't let it get into your head and don't make you don't let you think, wow, sentences today. Mm-hmm. Don't let it make you think that you're a bad runner because you're slow. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter as long as you're doing it. But I feel like you would know how to improve your mileage because I feel like you've had some, or not mileage, time, had some practice with it.
There's so many ways, and you'll hear so many of like just, training program. So I'm going to do one kind of universal thing is just consider looking into running form. I think that's something like a lot of people are like, I know how to run. I just run and I run faster. You know what I mean? And they just think of like hitting your head against the wall of like, must run faster, must push faster, must work harder. And it could also be form. It could just be your form and you're not utilizing your core or your glutes or your arms. So just consider going on YouTube and typing running form. And you might simply be like, I am a, like you might run on your heel and you might run like you land on your heel. And right there, you'll be like, oh, I should be running on my toe or midfoot. Boom. You'll be so much faster just doing that one little tweak without actually have to put in more work. So consider, don't freak out if you're like, my running form is awful, it's so wrong. You're going to regress back to what's natural, but just consider figuring out what sprinting and running form actually is and go down there.
Yeah, I love it. All right. Well, with that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube, on Instagram. Leave us a review, hopefully a nice one, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.